Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dasch Cast. So we've got a very special show for you. I am Curtis Dash. Joined with me, as always, is Brandon Colongo. Brandon, say hello.
What's up, everyone? Smash the like button, subscribe.
All right,
Let's
guys,
go.
you know what time it is. It's NFL Week 9 pick'ems. A little bit off the game. We had the Packers-Niners. Obviously, Packers picked up that win. I had picked the Packers, so cool. Starting 1-0. Moving on, we're going to go ahead and do Denver and Atlanta. Denver and Atlanta here. I'm going to go Denver. A lot of the country does not seem to be going Denver. What do you got?
Very interesting. I have no idea why. I don't see any reason to stay picking the Falcons. I would imagine Denver, even with, with Lockett quarterback, should win. I would personally start Driscoll, but that's just me. Denver.
Yeah, not too crazy there. Seahawks and Bills is the next game. Going Seahawks, coming off of that win against San Francisco. Don't really see the Buffalo Bills, who are barely squeaking by the Patriots, beating the Seahawks. So, gonna say Russell Wilson has a good game here. What about you, my friend?
Right. The Bills been winning, but not in very impressive ways. In my opinion, they should have beat that Pats team by more. That Pats team isn't very good, so to see the Bills team not beat them by very much, and not to mention, they're one fumble away from potentially, not winning that game essentially.
Yeah,
So, really, I picked the Seahawks. I already submitted it. I think this game could actually go either way, believe it or not. But
interesting.
I would lean Seahawks.
So here's another game that'll be interesting for some people. Who you got in the Chicago Bears Tennessee Titans game?
Interestingly enough, this is another game that everyone is picking one side, but I feel like it can go either way. I look at the Chicago Bears and the Tennessee Titans as a great defensive matchup.
Agreed.
Difference, I would say Tennessee has more options in terms of offensively. They have more weapons. They can hit you from more angles. So I am picking Tennessee, but expect a close one, and Bears could win this.
Picking Tennessee as well. I really think Chicago can win this game if Matt Nagy and the offense can find a way to get rolling. Nick Foles needs to have a big game, a huge game for them to pull through. Unfortunately, I do not see that happening. Derrick Henry will be a great matchup here. You know, you can always go to that run, relying on Nick Foles, and it's mainly just the Nagy offense that scares me. I'm gonna go
Right.
Titans here.
Yep, I agree. But if the Bears can put up more than 24, I actually like the Bears.
I agree. A high-scoring game would be nice. Let's go Lions-Vikings here, man. Very interesting game. Vikings coming off that win against Green Bay. Obviously, the four touchdown game with Dalvin Cook, 3 rushing, could be a huge game. I'm gonna go Vikings here. What about you?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not sold on the Vikings. If Stafford was playing, I would have picked the
Yeah, that's
Lions.
100% true. That's a big
He
point.
did come down with the illness, though, and so they have, I believe, Chase Daniel starting. I I got to imagine that Cousins is better than Chase Daniel, so I would pick the Vikings, especially because of their running game.
Very true. I think okay, this could be the game of the 1 o'clock hour for sure. We
Mm,
do have the Baltimore Ravens at 5-2, the Indianapolis Colts 5-2, number 1 or number 2 defense, something like that in the league versus a high powered offense. The Ravens not really look great as of late.
mm-mm.
Obviously we talked about that in our top tens. Who do you got in this game?
So I had to pick the Ravens. I think they're coming off a loss. They're too good of a team to lose 2 in a row. I do respect the Colts, and I love what they do on defense. However, their offense isn't powerful enough, based off the Ravens' defense being as good as it is, to really make an impact. They do have weapons. I just think that Baltimore has more weapons, stronger quarterback, overall better offense. So the really what's going to make the difference in this game is Baltimore's offense going against the Colts defense as opposed to the Colts offense going up against Baltimore's defense.
Yeah, that is the difference maker for sure. Definitely going Baltimore as well. I have to be honest. I respect the Colts a little bit more than I did the last time we kind of talked about them. Their defense is very good. I just think that Baltimore's defense is just as good, if not going to be better than
Oof.
the Colts offense. So
Okay.
it's mainly how it rolls. And speaking of blowouts and things that could actually happen, we got the Panthers who get Christian McCaffrey back this week. Thankfully, as somebody who has him in fantasy, it's about frickin' time. Doesn't matter going Kansas City. What about you?
Luckily, the Panthers have already been buried. Although I wouldn't actually mind if the Panthers did win this one. I've got Kansas City. I don't see a way that it's possible that the Panthers win this, but obviously anything can happen.
I mean, yeah, a team that good can stumble out of the gate, and you could see maybe the Panthers put up a couple quick scores, but the Chiefs
It's all
come from
about
behind
playing
before.
good defense and running the ball well. Because if Christian McCaffrey comes back and they can control the possession of the game and keep Mahomes off the field, and then their defense can get it done, you never know. That's how the Colts beat the Kansas City Chiefs last year.
Very true. Here's not really that great of a game, but this is something I want to address here. I'm actually going with Washington to start, and I heard before I'm going to spoil this for people. You said you were going to go the Giants in this game. I'm very curious as to what jumped out at you to make it so obvious, because you were quick on the gun on that, and I was quick on the gun on my Washington pick, and I would like to know where you're coming from.
So I'm not going to lie, my manager had actually was talking to his son with me in a meeting about who was going to win this game. And so I had already thought about it at some point, and I just looked at what the Giants did last week, and maybe the Bucks played bad, but maybe the Giants just also got up for this game and played really good. And their pass rush is hellacious. Granted, Washington has a great pass rush as well, and Daniel Jones usually tries to find a way to give the game away. But I don't particularly have faith in Kyle Allen either. So based off, I think New York actually has some momentum. Losing to the Bucks in the way in which
the way they lost, it is a quality loss. We call that a quality loss, and when we're talking about this all the time, and that's what we mean for the Giants. That's one of those quality. Yeah, I mean, they did what they could against a very, very, very good Bucks team. The reason I'm going to go Washington is mainly because I don't know exactly how morale could be in New York after consistently losing and a game they could have won. And it's just like, it's like, oh man, we were right there, we had a chance. Washington has not looked all that great. Kyle Allen is not the guy. Please give me Alex Smith. I am tired of begging for this. I've said this 1,000 times. If Alex Smith comes in, this team is a lot better. Put the guy in. However, still go with Washington.
Given Washington's track record and people begging for stuff, we could be waiting a while.
Very true. Very true. They still don't even have a name. All right, we got Texans and Jags next. Texans and Jags out here. Who you got?
So, a lot of people are trying to choose the Texans. And you know what? Realistically, they have a very good chance of winning just on account of the fact that the Jags do not have Minshew starting. However, the Texans are a train wreck inside the locker room. J.J. Watt has made it clear that he doesn't want to be a part of this rebuild. Watson followed suit, and I don't love this team's chemistry. It's a rivalry game. Anything can happen, and I just see the Jags finding a way to pull through.
I would love to see a big Jags win here. I'm just thinking Deshaun Watson will play well or play better than whoever is going to be starting for the Jags. To be honest, that's tough. I would really like to see a Jags win, and I think this is a very, very winnable game in all ways, shape, and form for the Jaguars, especially because that Texans franchise is so just frazzled, more or less.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna go definitely. It's just a shame. It's a crying shame. Let's do Raiders and Chargers here. I'm gonna kind of go with an upset. I'm actually going with the Chargers. I say upset in the way that 76% of the people are going with the Raiders. I'm gonna go Chargers here. I think that Air Bear can put up against a Raiders team that is not consistent in the slightest. I think this could be a very good shot for Air Bear to have another 4-touchdown game, and I'm not just saying that because I'm starting him in fantasy. What about you?
No, I got the Raiders. I just think that they're a more polished team. Not that they're polished. They're a better team. Let's go with that. They're a big surprise, honestly, this year. I was not expecting them to be as good as they are, but I think they're actually a good team. So I see that they're not going to be 500 at this point in the year. I see them being above 500. So by default, they got to win this game.
True.
And I know I've been picking lots of upsets this week. I went a little crazy on the upsets, but not this time. Las Vegas Raiders.
Wow. All right. And here's a very interesting number real quick to back up that. David Carr is 14 TDs to 2 INTs this year so far. So your boy is performing. Moving on, we do have the Steelers and Cowboys. The Cowboys have no chance in the fiery pits of hell in winning this game. I'm going Steelers 1,000%. I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, Steelers got a great gimme game, so they better not blow this.
If they blow this, Brandon's coming for you, and I think I might be there too. I think I might be there in the boat where they're going to drop in the power rankings to number 3 bare minimum, and I might even drop them lower than that. Can't be losing this kind of game. Dolphins Cardinals. Going to see another week of Tua going against Kyler Murray. could be very interesting. I'm actually going to pick up Arizona. I think they're going to win this like DeAndre Hopkins. I think they're going to be a good team. Kenyon Drake's supposed to come back, I believe.
I love how you said actually, like we're sold on Tua. I'm not sold on Tua yet. I think the way that they won that last week was highly indicative of the defense's play.
True.
That said, the Cardinals have a good defense too. Watch out for the Cardinals' defense. And Kyler Murray, I think having a year under his belt is going to outperform Tua, and so I feel that given both teams have strong defenses, I believe the Cardinals are a definitely strong playoff contender. They should make the playoffs by all accounts. And the Dolphins are playing for it, but I don't see them being a playoff team. So I could be wrong on it. Maybe they are, but Arizona I think will win this week.
Could be interesting. Now, game of the week, Sunday Night Football, New Orleans Saints, Tampa Bay Bucks. The Bucks are having Antonio Brown's first time we're going to see him. He is activated. That is a ridiculous receiving core. Drew Brees allegedly might have Michael Thomas back this week. That would be huge going into this matchup. The Saints do have the tiebreaker at the moment. Obviously, we will see what happens this game. Who do you got?
Well, almost don't even have to ask me. Tampa Bay is not gonna drop this game. They got the home game this time. Now, Godwin's questionable with a broken finger, but what a perfect time to have Antonio Brown come in. So they're still going to be talented despite the fact that they're going to be down in tight end this time. They've got their timing in a good position. I don't see them making as many mistakes. Their defense is playing out of its mind in terms of taking the ball away and stopping the run. And the Saints are actually kind of on the decline. If you'd asked me in the beginning of the season who the top 10 teams were, the Saints would have been on this list. However, if you listen to the previous podcast where I went into the Saints, I actually left them, or where I went into the top 10, I actually left the Saints off because I feel like they've been on a trend downward.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm definitely going Bucks here as well. I just feel like Tampa Bay is getting it together, and even that Giants game being what it was, they found a way to win that game regardless. They're going to be strong, even if Evans does not play. The team is just finding ways to keep improving. Bucks here. I'm sorry, I do agree with the Saints trending downhill at the moment. They could prove me wrong in this game. This is definitely a winnable game. The Bucks dropping this game would be a huge red flag, I think. It wouldn't be like the Packers losing to the Vikings kind of red flag, but it would still be a little bit of a red flag. I'm definitely going Bucks here. I want to move on to the Monday night game, and we're going to wrap up real quick. This won't be much. Don't think it's going to be super important. I think if Cam Newton can finally prove me wrong, though, it's this week. If Cam Newton has another INT game, y'all are going to hear it. Who do you got this week, man?
Okay, first of all, last week, 2 of those, in my opinion, weren't his fault. Maybe 2 of them were his fault.
Hey, remember when he fumbled at the end of the game?
That was definitely a bad play.
Crazy.
But, however, it was miraculous play on Cam's part that they were even in that game to begin with.
Sure.
And I'm gonna leave it at that. You're being way too hard on Cam. The Patriots are depleted offensively and defensively. With that said, I still think they'll beat the Jets pretty easily. I have a 21-10 prediction that the Patriots will win. But as far as last week goes, I actually look at that as a moral victory. Cam played his tail off in terms of bringing the energy, and I think that Cam was the only reason why they were in that game.
People were going to think
Belichick should be ashamed.
And that he was going to take this team to the playoffs just based on Cam Newton. People were saying that. Get out with this Cam Newton love.
You're right. Because, here's the thing. I had already told you if Hoyer, whoever was going to be the starter, or Stid was going to be the starter, I didn't like this team making the playoffs. Basically, I predicted 4 wins max, essentially. However, Cam is a game changer, and despite the fact that they're depleted of weapons, their defense is still okay enough that they could make the playoffs with Cam. I wasn't predicting they made the playoffs, but I did say it was a possibility.
But people were definitely a lot higher on Cam Newton than I was here. As always, guys, thank you very much for listening. We're going to get out of here, get out of your hair. Make sure you go ahead and like the video. Be sure to check out Brandon's YouTube channel. His video is on the way. Keep an eye out for that and the new song.
Oh, yeah.
As always, comment, let us know what you're thinking. Let us know if you have any ideas for a rebrand. We're thinking about rebrand, so any names you guys might have would be kind of cool. We were talking about that off air. I think it'd be kind of cool to pitch it to you guys, anybody listening. We'll see you next clip.